Hi, Sagittarius. It's Angela. Here we are. We're in the middle of December. I just thought, I thought I was going to be able to get everything done. I have a very busy December every single year. So, birthdays and year-end stuff with my bookkeeping and all that. So it's a busy time. And of course, the holidays, which is big. But here we are. Thought we could catch you before the month ended. For Sagittarius, we're going to do a soul guidance reading here for Sag, Sun, Moon, and Rising. And also, if you're just drawn to this topic and want to find out more about the soul, how the soul guidance readings work, just, watch all the videos. It's okay. But right now I'm drawing in the energy of Sag. And what we do normally is pull one oracle card, and then we do a little more exploration using the Zen Tarot deck. And the deck I'm using is Goddess Dream from Wendy Andrews. And the card I pulled for you is happiness, the joy of life. And I love this because, there's a lot of talk about, what exactly is happiness. If I achieve all these things ahead of me, then that's when I'll be happy. And we're starting to learn that it's backwards, right? It's embracing happiness and embodying it in the moment you're in as you move and explore toward goals or toward the things you want to achieve. And then I started thinking, we put a lot of weight on the happiness part, be happy, find things to find joy in. Sometimes just simply being content is enough too. Not overly, when I think of happiness, I don't think of, this effusive expression of, oh, yay. More what I think of is being well within, being content. And that makes me happy. So I'm hoping that maybe we can see what the spread says, and explore that a little bit as to, at what point are we happy, right? Is it simply from tuning into the contentedness that we can experience in any moment, in any given moment? I'm breathing, I am alive. That makes me content, right? Or I have loved ones around me, and my house is warm. That makes me content, and that brings about the state of happiness. Okay, let's get started. All right, so we have your Zen Tarot spread here, and this is called the tree. We have two sets of branches in the trunk here, and then a couple levels. So that the starting point is this lower set, and we're going to start there. So Sag, your starting card is stress. All right, well, that's a big leap, right? From stress to happiness. So this is good. Maybe this is going to be sort of a path forward from stress. I'm stressed. I want to get to happiness. Let's just see if that's where we end up. Yeah, at any given moment, we all have stresses in our lives, all of us. It's actually important to have some stress, but how we respond to it is what's more important. And being solution oriented as opposed to problem focused, I think helps. But to a point, a certain amount of stress is good. It's kind of what motivates us. What gets us to make our plans and go forward and move through experiences, in our lives. So let's just see, because it could be one or two different vibes. Yeah. So this is what it is. So yeah, we have a certain amount of stress, but within us, internally, we realize that it's all part of the big picture. Like as we move through our life and through our experience, we're still moving on the path, right? Whether we're, at whatever point on this road we find ourselves, if it's, down in the dark, down underneath in a cave, or, in the fog, or up top, near the sun, in the water, feeling things out. So we realize that this whole journey is ongoing, and stress comes and goes. How does that sit in our experience in relation to our level of happiness or contentedness. So being able to assess it and kind of go, yeah, I have stress, and I've had this whole path of my life, and I've had some really happy moments, and I've had, some very momentous moments where I feel I've achieved a lot, and then some moments when I felt quieter, right? So within you, you're starting to realize stress is just one part of it, and happiness is another. And then there's many more factors involved. In your external world, there's a sense that maybe in relation to the stress, that, oh, I'm never going to be happy. I'm not going to get there. It's too far removed from me. It's, if I'm starting on this level of stress, then it's going to take too many steps for me to get to happiness, right? And the guidance here is take a step, right? Because within you, you're still aware that there's a lot of steps on this path that have made up your life thus far, and there's still a lot more ahead. So take a step, get moving on that, on that traveling road, as far as, away from the stress or toward a more content energy vibe. Okay. So, and, at this time of year, I want to say too, there's a lot of pressure on people at the holidays, and there's a lot of pressure on people in general anyway. It's like, brush it off and snap out of it and be happy. But at this time of year, it's a little more intense, I think, that pressure to remain happy, remain positive. We must also have a shadow. The entire universe is made up of light and shadow, right? We move from day to night. The shadow part of us, must integrate. It must be another emotion that we get to experience, really. That push to don't be sad, don't cry, shake it off, be happy, look at the bright side. That's usually told to us by another, or sometimes we tell ourselves in our own mind, and that it's a lot of pressure. And I think that whatever emotion you're experiencing is good, because it's letting you as a human being sort of hit all those little corners and all those little facets of what make us human and what make us fully experience our lives. So, if there's sadness or some pain, let it be part of it, and let the happiness live alongside it. Let it be there too, right? It's that shadow work that we tend to forget, is important to integrate all of those parts for ourselves. And especially at this time of year, there could be a sad day and then there could be a happy one. And, it doesn't mean that right on the day of celebration, whether it is, whatever holiday you're celebrating, that's not the day you have to turn on your happiness necessarily. If you're not feeling great, you can just go with content, right? You can just go with, yeah, everything is, all the pieces are in place and everybody's together, and let's just be in that, right? And then move, because remember, that traveling road is long and continuous. But yeah, in your external world, that guidance is just go toward it. Do one thing to release your stress today. Do one thing to focus on, or focus on one thing that makes you realize that you're content in some areas of your life. Focus on that. Don't forget that stuff. The next card is sort of the pivot to move us to this upper level of branches here. And this is our higher self and our higher awareness. And this card is key. And that is awareness. So the veil is lifting. You're beginning to realize, I can feel, unhappiness, and I can feel happiness, right? It can all be part of my experience without harming me, right? Just welcome in your feelings, and treat them like a dinner guest. If it's pain and sadness, welcome it in like a dinner guest. Sit with it for a minute, feed it a little bit, just a little bit, and then send it out the door and say goodnight, right? This is what we do with all our feelings. And if it's happiness and joy and something beautiful that you want to embrace, welcome it in and let it, stay the weekend, or let it stay for going, and then, move on to the next feeling that arises. So, we have to see it more as we're hosting this experience out there that we're having. We're hosting it, and we can react to it and respond to it in any way we choose. Even the stress and even that. But the topic is happiness. So let's see where we end up in this reading and see if we're getting closer to that state. And I got the miser. So yeah, look at this. So she is gathering all her riches and all her jewels and all of her contentment, or what she believes is bringing her joy. She's, walled in by this brick wall. She's just tucked away with all the things that she believes are valuable and worthwhile. Not sharing, right? Not sharing, not keeping an open heart, not really giving of herself. Just let me have my things. But I think that because it's positioned here at this like landing spot of your elevated awareness or elevated perception as it pertains to happiness, you're starting to realize, oh yeah, all that is not where the happiness is. This is not bringing me joy, right? It's bringing me satisfaction and maybe a sense of accomplishment and maybe even a sense of security. But that none of those are happiness, right? And that's what I believe this is what it's telling us. You're starting to realize this. Within you, you've got the innocence card. So yeah, within you, you take all your knowledge and you have all your knowledge on board as far as self-knowledge and knowing, that just amassing things is not going to bring me joy. And find a way to see it in a new way. Find a new perspective on it. And because this is in that higher perspective row, I love it, because it's really reminding you within you that, yeah, I know a lot. I've been happy a lot, and I've been unhappy a lot, and I know a lot about myself and how I respond to certain situations and emotions. And the more I learn about it and the more I know, the more I realize I will continue that growth. I will continue to learn more and more. It's not like I'm going to learn it all and that's it, right? I'm going to gather all my knowledge or all my things that make me seem happy. I'm going to take that formula that I used before to create happiness, and I'm just going to repeat it. Well, maybe not. Maybe find new creative ways to embellish on your relationship to joy or contentedness. Being able to see it in a new way is what allows it to grow more and more in your experience. And then when the sadness comes, you're better at navigating and welcoming that dinner guest in, and maybe you're just going to have them for appetizers and send them home this time, right? Maybe it's very short, and you're learning that flow of all of your emotions is what really overall brings you a feeling of contentedness, because you are being true to your human experience. You're in each moment, you're allowing even the sad parts to be there. But when it's super, joyful, you can keep that around a little longer, because in your response to your feelings, you know how to keep the flow going instead of clogging up with, keep that sadness and then try to scrape the happiness in, allow them all to come and go. That's what our feelings are for. Energy in motion, emotion, right? Okay. And our final card in this spread is New Vision. So this whole reading may have brought you a new way to perceive, happiness, or to define happiness in your experience. And, as we go forward, you can continue, this being the final card in the spread, and the card in your external world. This is like, I'm going to take this knowledge that I've learned about myself, about how to let my emotions live with me and move through my experience. And I'm going to elevate it. I'm going to reach for more. I'm going to find ways to speak with others and counsel others and share with them, what you've learned about your relationship to your feelings, and the difference between your joy and seeking happiness, and then having the realization that there are many ways that you can feel content in your life, which is, I think, a beautiful space to find. Because, like I said, even feeling the scary things and the negative things, that should make you feel content too, because you're being honest. Okay, I'm pulling a card from the Messages from the Light deck, this deck, and we're going to just do a little bonus message, a little bonus for you guys. And the card that I got for you, Sag, is renewal. I love that. So fresh start. That's kind of that's this innocence card. That's this new vision card. It's all of that. It's time for you to transform into your joy. And, it includes allowing your sadness to be there and leave when it's done. That's part of, your whole experience as a human being. I love it. I love this reading. All right, you guys, that will do it. I hope you all have a wonderful holiday, and I will likely see you next year.